You might not realize it, but right now there's a quiet war being fought over the future of the internet. On one side, you have Google, the gateway to pretty much all information. And on the other side, the millions of websites that actually create that information. The flashpoint for this whole conflict is one single technology, AI. And believe me, this battle is going to redefine how we find anything online. So this all boils down to one fundamental question. Who's really in the driver's seat when it comes to Google's AI search results? Is it Google, the company building the tool? Or is it the people who write the articles and create the original knowledge that the AI learns from? It's a massive power struggle, and it's happening in plain sight every time you search. All right, to really get what this fight is all about, we have to understand how the battlefield itself has completely changed. The Google search that we've known for decades is going through a massive fundamental transformation. Okay, just look at this slide. It lays out the shift so clearly. For years, Google was basically a directory. You asked a question, and it handed you a list of those classic blue links to different websites. Simple. But the new Google, it's trying to be the answer itself, using this feature called AI Overviews to cook up a whole summary for you right there at the top of the page. And that right there is the core of it. Google is shifting from a search engine to an answer engine. It's not just pointing you to the information anymore. It's digesting that information itself and then spitting out a summary. And that one little change is the root cause of this entire conflict. Now, while this might seem super efficient for us, the users, it creates a huge problem for the people who actually write the articles, who make the guides, and build the websites that are feeding this AI in the first place. This analogy just nails the problem, doesn't it? Imagine you spent years writing the best guidebook to Paris. Then a tour guide just buys one copy, reads all your best tips to tourists, but never once mentions your name or where they could buy the book. You'd lose all your sales and credit, right? Well, that's exactly how publishers feel when their work gets used in an AI summary that never sends any visitors to their website. So the obvious question is, why don't they just opt out? Can a website just put up a sign that says, "Hey Google, don't use my stuff for your AI answers"? Well, it's not nearly that simple. And here we have the catch-22. It's a real trap. The only tool publishers have right now is this little piece of code called a no-snippet tag. And yeah, it works. It stops Google's AI from summarizing their page. But, and this is a massive but, it also gets rid of that little text preview you see under the traditional blue links. So their link just looks blank. It makes it way less appealing to click on, and they basically become invisible. It's an impossible choice. Either let the AI user work or disappear from search. So, as you can probably guess, publishers are not just sitting back and accepting this. Not at all. A kind of digital rebellion is brewing, and they are starting to fight back with the tools they have. And get this is really powerful. A recent study found that a staggering 79% of top news publishers are already actively blocking at least one of Google's AI training bots. So this isn't some tiny protest. This is a mainstream movement. They are, as one source put it, voting with their robots.txt files. That file, it's just a simple text document that every website has to give instructions to web crawlers. Publishers are using it to put up a big digital stop sign for Google's AI bots. And the pushback isn't just coming from the websites themselves. Oh no. Now you've got governments and regulators all over the world starting to pay very close attention. We're seeing pressure from the UK, from the US Department of Justice, and a whole bunch of other groups. This has gone from a tech issue to a global regulatory headache for Google. So, with all this pressure mounting from both publishers and regulators, Google had to do something. They had to respond. But as you'll see, their response has been very cautious. So here it is. This is the key statement from a recent Google blog post. And look, on the surface, this sounds like fantastic news, right? They're talking about new controls to let sites opt out specifically from the AI stuff, which would solve that whole catch-22. But you really got to read between the lines here. The key word, the magic word, is exploring. They're not promising, they're not announcing, they're not committing. They are simply exploring updates. This is classic corporate speak for, okay, we hear you, we're thinking about it, but don't go circling a date on your calendar. And if you needed any more proof that this was a carefully worded response, just look at the timing. It's pretty wild. Google's blog post about exploring this new control, It was published on the exact same day that the UK's big regulatory body, the CMA, opened a formal investigation into this very issue. That is almost certainly not a coincidence. This was a direct reaction to regulatory pressure. So where does all this leave us? What does this mean for the future of how we all find information online? Well, the truth is, a whole lot is still up in the air. We have no idea what this new control will actually look like. Will it be another line of code, a simple toggle switch in a settings menu? Will it be easy enough for a small blog to use? And maybe the most important question of all, when, if ever, will it actually arrive? And that's the key takeaway for today. For right now, nothing has actually changed. Despite that blog post, publishers are still stuck in that impossible catch-22, having to choose between feeding the AI or being visible in search results. And all of this leaves us with the single biggest question facing the future of the web. When you ask an AI for an answer, who gets the final say on where that information comes from? Is it the company that built the powerful AI, or is it the people who created all the knowledge in the first place? The answer to that question is going to define the next chapter of the internet.